I actually didn't know what to expect when I got here. I just really wanted to be in an environment with a bunch of other diabetics to share experiences, just to kind of be in a place with other people going through the same thing and be able to talk. This is my first experience at a diabetes-centered function, and I'm having an absolute blast. The conference was a really intensified meeting of getting everyone involved with students with diabetes across the country together. It was just a weekend, almost camp-like in setting. If you've ever been to a diabetes camp, it was like that, but condensed and catered to adults.
Who here in the room has diabetes? Can I have a show of hands? Who doesn't? Yeah, who's the cooler group in this room? That's what I'm talking about.
Bill Sutherland is the founder and CEO of Team Type 1.
He put together a team and they actually rode all the way across America. And they're working to get into the Tour de France as a whole group of Type 1 diabetics.
We compete on 6 continents and inspire millions. Want to see what diabetes can do? Anything it wants to. This is Team Type 1. This is diabetes. Welcome to the team.
It was the perfect way to start the conference. He gave this very, very motivational and relatable speech.
There was no one I grew up looking up to and saying, you know, sportists, athletes. At 6 years old, I like to say I took the job as a CEO of my own body. You know, I was at a birthday party, it was time for cake. And I said, "Mom, can I have some cake?" And she goes, "Yeah, sure, just do your shot." I said, I'm not doing my shot. I just want cake." And she said, "That's fine, you'll go blind." And I was like, "Can I have my shot?" She goes, "Nope. You're ungrateful. You don't want to use these tools. So go ahead, have the cake, live your life how you're going to, and you're going to be blind and probably dead by 25. And I said, I begged my mother for my shot. I said, "Can I please have my insulin?" And she gave it to me. Then I had the cake. But at that point in life, I kind of realized that, okay, this is mine to control. And I'm either going to see or I'm not going to see, and it's going to be my responsibility and my choices that got me there.
Whatever the cards you're dealt, you're going to play your hand, right? So I think people with diabetes who really accept it do amazing things. And we learned a little bit about that at the conference.
And we said we're going to race our bikes across America, and we're going to do it just with a team of people with diabetes. Nothing like this had ever been done before. The first time we were doing the race, it was, you know, challenging. The first day and a half of the race, our blood sugars were all over the place, right? I mean, we just really didn't know how to use this technology while we're racing a relay race across the country.
Kind of neat is they actually have learned how to manage diabetes where they are actually having better results than a non-diabetic because they can control their sugars through food and insulin better than the normal body can.
So we put the team together for the next year. We adapted our technology, adapted the treatment strategy. We came back into the race with that knowledge. We ended up winning the race by nearly 3 hours. And at that point I said, we're going to put a Type 1 into the Tour de France, we're going to globalize this message, and we're going to make sure that one day we wake up in a world where no one goes blind from diabetes.
Most Type 1 diabetics I've met, if they have accepted diabetes, it turns into a blessing. You
can walk proud because, you know, diabetes picks some pretty special people. And then what you do with it, I think, is why you're here today. You're in this room and you've got a next couple days with some phenomenal speakers, some great people in this diabetes world, which are going to try to, hopefully you can go home and realize that, okay, I've got this. There's nothing I can do about having it. Let's see what I can do to make the best of it. And I stand before you, I promise you, I wouldn't trade diabetes for the world. I love it. It's the best thing that ever happened to me.
I'm just excited to be here and excited about everything, so it really like, ooh, that's new, okay. I'm just kind of going with it.
It's awesome to find friends that you've met virtually but never met in reality. So these are people who know a lot about you like a best friend would, and you don't have to actually share it to their face. So then when you actually go and meet, there's a very, very strong bond.
It's much easier to ask questions here. It's, you know, because people are right here. It's a one-on-one situation. Not that I don't ask my doctor questions, but I only see my doctor every 3 months or so, and if I've got questions this moment, I can ask the people around me because they either know because they've gone through it, or they know somebody who's gone through it, or they know who else to ask to get immediate answers.
It's a needle in a haystack as far as finding other people living with type 1 diabetes, and the camaraderie is very important, and that's the big attraction when it comes to these conferences.
Everything that we've talked about is things that have been floating around in the back of my mind, and so I'm just like, this is great.